There's any relation between these base chakras and these elements, sensing organs?
Yeah. Adana, I am going to come there. That is why I am preparing. And Raja Yoga, we are actually following the Raja Yoga system, and Kundalini Yoga is Raja Yoga technique. Kundalini Yoga is very important to know how it is working for a yoga teacher. Because something happens and you resort to that system of yoga for supporting. Raja Yoga is a scheme. It's a very dynamic yoga, and Kundalini Yoga is part of Raja Yoga.
Different types of schemes.
There are different schemes.
Particularly example blindness, other vision, other use just like that.
To say how the creation is proceeding, they are saying that they have seen, our master has seen, there are two principles which is there. One is Prakriti, the other is Purusha. And then how can Prakriti do things by itself?
So Prakriti is blind.
അല്ല, നടക്കണാവാം. മറ്റാളെ കൂടെ കൊണ്ടുപോകുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ ഇവർ കൊളാബറേറ്റ് ചെയ്താണ് മുന്നോട്ട് പോണത്. അപ്പോൾ പ്രകൃതി അതിൻ്റെ there is a reason to say that, because without Purusha there is no Prakriti. Because the background, if the background is not there, nothing can happen. The background is not involving, but it is there. So in the Karika, in the interpretation done by Ishvara Krishna, he says that they're collaborating like this. And if you really go into, nowadays with our understanding, if you go into Sankhya, this collaboration is not possible. Because Purusha is the simple witness, not involving in anything. That is a refined position. You understand? If it is a witness not involving, how can they collaborate? It's a question. Ishvara Krishna says they collaborate with an example. കാലവയ്യാത്ത ഒരാളിനെ തനിച്ച് പോകാനൊക്കെ ഇല്ലല്ലോ, നടക്കാനില്ല. കണ്ണ് പൊട്ടനും മുമ്പോട്ട് നടക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല. ഇവർ രണ്ടും കൂടെ ആകുമ്പോൾ അവർക്കെങ്ങനെ ഒരുത്തൻ പറയും നീ കാലവിടെ വയ്ക്കണ്ട എന്ന് പറയുന്നു. കാല് വയ്ക്കാൻ പറ്റാത്തവൻ പിന്നെ കണ്ണ് കാണാം, മറ്റവന് കാലുണ്ട് കണ്ണ് കണ്ടുകൂടാ. അപ്പോൾ ഇവർ രണ്ടും കൂടെ കൊളാബറേറ്റ് ചെയ്താലേ അവർക്ക് മുന്നോട്ട് പോകാനൊക്കെ ഉള്ളൂ. അങ്ങനെയാണ് പ്രകൃതിയും പുരുഷനും കൊളാബറേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് മുന്നോട്ട് പോയത്. എന്തോ കേട്ടില്ല. അങ്ങനെയും പറയാമില്ല, അത് പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടില്ല. അത് പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടില്ല.
There seems to be collaborate, but there is no collaboration.
And actually, in the modern context, when you are looking at it, actually, this example doesn't fit. If Ishvara Krishnan in his commentary, he said like that, to formulate his idea that witness is the only thing which is at the base, and on that Prakriti evolved. And when you say witness is the intelligence, the supreme intelligence, if you count on that, certainly without the support of the supreme intelligence, nothing can happen. So, keeping that idea, which is a later version of improvement of the idea, and so Ishvara Krishna, after 1,000 years when he did the commentary, and he put this example. You understand? In the beginning, you cannot say. So Sankhya philosopher might not have said this example. Later, commentator. അതെ കാരികയില്ല. അത് അദ്ദേഹം നോർത്ത് ഇന്ത്യൻ, സൗത്ത് അല്ലായിരിക്കും, നോർത്ത് ആയിരിക്കും. അറിഞ്ഞൂടാ അദ്ദേഹം എവിടെയാണെന്ന് എനിക്കറിഞ്ഞു. അല്ല, യൂണിയൻ എന്നല്ല, ഈ മാനിഫെസ്റ്റേഷനേ ഇല്ല. അങ്ങനെ പിന്നല്ലേ വന്നത്, ഒരു വകയില്ല. അതല്ലേ അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ആർക്കും ഒന്നും ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റാതായി പോയത്. ഇതെല്ലാം നിങ്ങൾ കൊണ്ടുവന്നത് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് തോന്നണമാണ്, ഇതൊന്നുമില്ല, സത്യമേ അല്ല. അതാണ് ഒന്നും അങ്ങനെ പിടിക്കാൻ പറ്റാതായിപ്പോയി. അതുവരെ നമുക്കിതെല്ലാം സത്യമായിരുന്നു. ശങ്കരാചാര്യൻ്റെ കാലം വന്നപ്പോൾ അങ്ങേര് പറഞ്ഞു, ആകെക്കൂടി ഒന്നേ ഉള്ളൂ സത്യം, സത്യം രണ്ടാവില്ല, രണ്ടെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞതേ ഇല്ല, രണ്ടാമതൊന്നും ഇല്ലാത്തതാണ് സത്യം. അതിനെയാണ് അദ്ദേഹം ഈ പറയുന്ന ബ്രഹ്മം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞത്. ഈ പറഞ്ഞ വിറ്റ്നസ് ഇല്ലേ, ആ വിറ്റ്നസ് മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ, വേറെ ഒന്നുമില്ല, ഒന്നും ഉണ്ടായിട്ടുമില്ല, ഉണ്ടാകാൻ പോകുന്നുമില്ല എന്നങ്ങേര് പറഞ്ഞു. അതാണ് അങ്ങേരുടെ അദ്വൈതം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട്, രണ്ടെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ഒന്നില്ല. എല്ലാം അങ്ങേരെ ഓരോന്ന് ഈ സാഖ്യ അങ്ങേരുടെ നിർവ്വാണ ഷർട്ട് എടുത്ത് നോക്കിയാൽ നിങ്ങൾക്കറിയാം, ഇതിനകത്തുള്ള ഓരോ പോയിന്റും അങ്ങേരെ എടുത്തിട്ടാണ് പറയുന്നത്. അങ്ങനെയാണത് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. സാഖ്യയെ ബേസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടാണ് നിർവ്വാണ ഷർട്ട് എഴുതിയിരിക്കുന്നത്. അതൊക്കെ ചെയ്ത് ആദ്യകാലത്തായിരിക്കും എന്നാണ് ഞാൻ വിചാരിക്കുന്നത്. അങ്ങനെ ഈ അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡിങ്ങിൽ എത്തുന്നതിന് മുമ്പേ നടന്ന അമ്പലങ്ങൾ അത്രയും ഉണ്ടാക്കി. പിന്നെ ആയിരിക്കണം അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ഈ റെവലേഷൻ ഉണ്ടായത്. അങ്ങനൊന്നില്ല. ബിഫോർ പുരുഷൻ എന്നൊരു കണ്ടീഷനില്ല. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ആ പുരുഷൻ എന്നുള്ളത് സ്വയംഭൂ അങ്ങനെ ഉണ്ട്. അത് പിന്നെ ഉണ്ടായതല്ല, അത് ഉള്ളതാണെന്നാണ്. ആ ഉള്ളതായതുകൊണ്ടാണ് അതിനെ ഉണ്മ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞത്. ഇല്ലാത്തത് ഉണ്ടെന്ന് തോന്നിക്കുന്നതിനെ മായ എന്ന് ശങ്കരാചാര്യ പറഞ്ഞു. ഇല്ലാത്തതിനെ ഉണ്ടെന്ന് തോന്നിക്കുന്നത് മായ. ഉള്ളത് ഒന്നേ ഉള്ളൂ, ഒന്നിൽ കൂടുതലില്ല. ഈ പുരുഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന സർവ്വവ്യാപിയായിരിക്കുന്ന, സർവ്വത്തിലും നിറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്ന there is only one and there is no two according to Sankhya, according to Shankara. But in Sankhya there were two principles. One is Prakriti, the other is Purusha. And this idea evolved 2,200 years, 600 years before. Then came Buddha. And Buddha was a Sankhya follower. He was a Sankhya follower in the beginning, and then he left, and then he started searching by himself. And then he has the base of Sankhya. So he searched and he finally understood that there is nothing. He also said the idea, there was nothing.
Where they are searching?
Inwardly. And he said there is nothing. There is only emptiness. Everything came from emptiness. Before the beginning, what was there? Maybe certainly nothing. So Buddha really concluded it like that. Before the beginning, what was there? There was nothing. So nothing is the ultimate. ഇതാണ് nothing is the അത് തന്നെ ഇത് പ്രകൃതി പുരുഷ സംയോഗം. പ്രകൃതി പുരുഷ സമയം അത് യോഗത്തിൻ്റെ പീരീഡിലല്ലേ ഈ ക്രിസ്ത്യാനിറ്റി വരുന്നത്. ക്രിസ്ത്യാനിറ്റിക്ക് മുമ്പേ ഉണ്ട്, പക്ഷേ ജുഡായിസത്തിനകത്ത് ഈ ഐഡിയാസ് എല്ലാം കിടപ്പുണ്ട്. പിന്നെ അപ്പോൾ ഹ്യൂമൻ തിങ്കിങ് അല്ലേ, ഓരോ റീജിയൻ ദർ മസ്റ്റ് ബി റീജിയണൽ വേരിയേഷൻസ് ഇൻ തിങ്കിങ്, ആൻഡ് ഡിപ്പെൻഡിങ് അപ്പോൺ ദാറ്റ് റീജിയൻ what was the existing philosophy, the following philosophers tried to improve what was there already. Ultimately there must be something, and that from different angles, different places, people were searching to find out. Because according to Sankhya, the cause is we have sorrow and we have to get out of the sorrow. Always there is some kind of sorrow. When you get something, you are happy, but when you lose things, you will be... life is like that. And so, how to get out of the suffering, human suffering, that was the search. Buddha searched for the same reason. Sankhya also says this. And Kapila Maharshi started to look for this, to eradicate the three kinds of sorrow. So they have been trying to understand. So nothing we can say is ultimate, it will improve. This is what I feel. Because now we have come up till here, and we feel that this is ultimate because there are certain possibility of fixing it as this philosophy is the ultimate, because ultimately there is nothing. അല്ല അത് മറ്റേ രാമാനുജൻ്റെ ഒരു ഐഡിയ. അതിന് അത്ര വലിയ വൈഡ് സ്പ്രെഡ് അക്സെപ്റ്റൻസ് ഒന്നും വന്നില്ല. ബട്ട് ഹിസ് തിങ്കിങ് വാസ് ഗുഡ് ദാറ്റ് ഹി പുട്ട് ഇറ്റ് he recorded that വിശിഷ്ടാദ്വൈതം. അപ്പോൾ so it is very interesting. If you are interested, you can go on looking there. But then when you are looking, your understanding will be deeply founded. That is the support. Spirituality is always supported by philosophy. Spirituality is the practical aspects of the philosophy.
But our individual experience support this one. There is a witness, there is something to
അതുണ്ട്. That is the
this is clear for everybody.
for everybody. അപ്പോൾ അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഇന്ന് അപ്പുറത്തോട്ട് പോകാൻ പറ്റും. ഇപ്പം ശങ്കരാചാര്യരുടെ അപ്പുറത്തോട്ട് പോകാൻ നിവർത്തിയില്ല. And when you are searching, you don't find a way out of the final exploration of Shankara. Why he is saying there is a particular reason? Because this is the reason why Shankara is saying this. You are seeing me and I am seeing you. We are not seeing the same thing. Every moment of life we are seeing different things. And based on what you are seeing and you understand, based on your position you are seeing. Next time when you change your position, sit somewhere and start to look, then maybe evening you look, morning somebody else look from the same position. The impressions are different. You never get the same impression. So from your point of view, you understand the world, which is different from another person's point of view. We never see one thing. So when you communicate something, how will I understand? I don't understand anything. And we get misunderstood all the time. When you are looking, that is why we are quarreling always. You say something, your husband says something, your wife says something else, and we go on arguing to convince the other one. Nothing is working. Perennial disaster. Because of the perspective. Perspective can never be the same. And so if it is so, my world and your world are different. Though we are here, and we cannot even say we are in the same world. Because our world is different. From where you understand the world, that is your world. That is based on your placement. And then placement has a big role. And the time has a bigger role. And then based on your understanding, you verify and you test and you say this is correct. It means it is correct for me. And then you are trying to inflict this correct idea on somebody and they reject you completely. And you get puzzled, you get upset, you try to convince the other one. This is what we are doing day long. Continuously arguing and lose the peace of mind. And then you are restless. You are not peaceful. If you are not peaceful, you can come closer to anything because restlessness is there. You are divided, fragmented. With the fragmented mind, you approach that fragmented mind, say things which are fragmented. You create fragmentation. This is how it is working. We go on creating fragmentation in this unified territory. We create fragmentation. And that is how we limit our scope. So the possibilities don't have a particular perspective. If you don't have a particular perspective, you can accept everything. But we believe that this perspective is what keeps you on. Go on. This is me. We identify with the perspective that you have as the ultimate, and that is you. If you lose the perspective, you are nobody. And this is a fear. So you never leave this perspective. And hold on this and try to go ahead with the life. And then there is actually already fragmented and the world is fragmented that you cannot convince the other one. So two people having two different perspectives cannot come closer to each other. The only possibility to come closer to each other or melt in the other one, forgetting this. This is what happens in sex. That's why they have evolved a system, Tantra. You have no perspective. You live the moment, and what is there? There is no right, there is no wrong, there is no good, there is no bad. It's the perspective of Tantra, Buddhist Tantra. Then you are seeing, and then every moment that is unraveling before you, you are merging into that moment. and how to merge. This backlog, if you have, you cannot merge with anything. Then you can verbally say, I love you. I love you, but you don't know the other one. And so he says something which doesn't go with your understanding of the person, you get upset. Then these two people cannot live together. Continuously happening all over the world, suffering is happening because it's not our fault. It is how it is. So it is important to understand what is the cause of all the troubles. So then when you are looking, you understand that it is the content and your concepts, your beliefs, your ideas. And the function of the mind creates this problem. So what to do? Dropping the functions of the mind. Is there a possibility? By dropping the activities of the mind, you become empty, and then you become empty, we all become empty, thereby you are fresh. You have no content, no concept, no belief, no idea, you are like a newborn baby. This is the spiritual rebirthing. Then you are free. Then you are not holding on anything to create the same trouble that you underwent. So you become very pure in that way, like an innocent baby. So when you are involving in any process like an innocent infant, that is Tantra. That is Tantra. It's a great philosophy. Possibility is there. And in the name of Tantra, in Europe, actually there are seminars, there are workshops, and people gather there, they remove their clothes and they stay there, and they do something and they feel they are tantric, great celebrants.
Like Osho.
But Osho knows it. Osho is a person who knows all these things. And there is a lot of stories about him. I have seen him. And I went to the ashram 3 days. That was the maximum they allowed. When he was alive in 1997, I went to Pune, I met him and I saw him. I had a good experience there. And so he is not as people are thinking. Not at all. At that time in 70s, it is a moralistic society. Highly moralistic society. And then actually what to do? With all the heaviness, people are trying to live their life. Really strange. So it is how it is. Anyway, it is very interesting if you are a student of yoga to go into all these things and understand from where it is evolved, what is the essential principle of the previous things, and also the yogic philosophy came from where, and the purpose of the yoga philosophy, and then how they designed their programs. All this, for example, all the asanas that you are doing is based on this science. Ayurveda is based on this. For example, you have done the Vrikshasana, the Tadasana. You are aligning your system, basically, your body. Your body has the representation of all the elements. It has the representation of quality. And this you need to know. That's why I will introduce you to that science which is Kundalini system that says in which part of the body is sensitive to particular element. So you come, you align all the elemental positions in your body, and then you have the seat of quality inside you. And then when you do Vrikshasana, see, you open the base. So it's scientifically made based on this understanding. Patanjali has not said any asana. He has only put the philosophy. When you go to Tirumular, you can see some more practical applications of it. So based on the basic principle laid by Patanjali and the previous masters like Kapila Maharshi, and there is like an ongoing process of evolution you can see in human thinking. And whatever we found out in this generation will be put into practice and then you refine yourself with those practices. All the practices are designed based on this base. Your every movement, you involve some part of your body. Like you see air element hands, fire element legs, water element genital, earth element anus, and talking organ mouth, ether. And you have corresponding sense organs. And when you are doing something, you understand which is the control center of mouth, the control center of hands, the control center of legs. There are control centers where you exchange information. And so you understand where the sensations of your asana is touching deeply. And that means this particular element is stimulating. And then the element has its corresponding sensations and the corresponding what you call emotions. All elements have its corresponding emotions. So slowly by taming the body, you are getting into the deeper core of yourself, which is your mind. When earth element is dominant in your system at that time, you will be feeling very earthly, that we have seen in the last workshop, though some of you were there in the last workshop. When earth element is dominant, the corresponding organ or the functional organ, the work organ, karmendriya, anus. So if you get into insecurity, that your house is going to be lost of some reason, what will happen? You get very insecure. The insecurity feeling, when it comes, there will be a tendency to actually establish the insecurity, the security. And for that, there will be, you can see the base part of the body tries to contract all the time, hold the security. And you have to unlock this hold. It's a psychological thing. After some time, you can see it is happening in your body. When you are in, many people, when they travel from the Western world to India by air and they come here, they participate in our teachers training program. Many of the people whom I have seen, they don't evacuate for days. Constipation. What happened? Constipation. Because anxiety of flying, then as soon as you land in Trivandrum or Cochin from the Western world, when you are landing there, they may be coming here at the first time in their life, hoping that they are entering into a spiritual country. Big planning, everything. They land in the airport, they come after all the hazards, because very mess there in the airport. Now it's slightly better. And you get out and the door opens. Door opens, millions of people are standing and looking. They're looking at you. Everybody is looking. This hardly experienced by people who are coming from outside. And they feel shocked. What is going on? Should I run away? And that is the first feeling. People are looking, staring. And nobody stares in the Western world. Nobody look at the face of somebody. Even if they look, they just look and take their eyes away. And then you are entering into a completely different atmosphere whereby you cannot locate yourself. And then this land, a lady came from Italy and she was coming for my satsangs and she felt coming to India, do the TTC, may give her, she is a yoga teacher, and she felt great. And so she signed up. I said, I know her, I said, now you don't need to come to India, you wait some time, I am coming there and you can have some lessons. And then when you are really slowly becoming a little more good or tight or strong, not tight, strong, you can come. No, she has to come. And she took a ticket and she flew to Trivandrum airport. And at the middle of the night, at 2:30 or 4 o'clock, she was dropped down in Trivandrum airport. The airport was having no facility, very difficult to even exchange her money. And she came out and she saw at the middle of the night millions of people staring at her, and she wanted to run away. She got panicked. Actual thing. She really got panicked. And then what to do? And she didn't ask the school to send a taxi or something to pick her up. And then and maybe 50 people following her. Taxi. Hardly you see these kind of things. And as if people are very aggressive and they are trying to catch her to take somewhere. So she didn't want to get into any taxi. And then finally she reported somewhere or other, and then finally she got a taxi and she was going to Kovala. The accommodation was there in a place which was where we were going to have our course. And there was nobody's support. And the driver goes on asking questions, personal questions. Are you married? How many children do you have? These are the things which are unheard of in the Western world. How many children do you have? What nonsense. What do you want to do with me? Because see, two different cultures confronting. And she was like a fish out of water. She was running. And finally she came, he dropped her into this place where we organized the program. And then she was sitting in the room. She didn't want, it's through the darkness she had to come down. And she never wanted to come out of her room. And so the hotel owner called me and said that the lady, as you said, is here and she don't want to come out. She is not opening. I called her several times, and so you can come. For liberation she came. Study yoga, making her free. Now she is in a cage, locked up, sitting there. Actually. And so I didn't want to go because she knows me well, she knows my wife. I sent my wife because a foreign face may be better for her to see because she has got a strong impression about the Indians. But thousands of eyes staring at her. They may chop you to pieces and eat. That's the feeling. My wife went there, she is a foreigner, and so there is no problem. She has a polite behavior, and so anyway they talked, and then finally it was 11 o'clock in the morning. She was just sitting. She didn't even go to the toilet because she became constipated. Actually, what happened to the base? Base locked. It's a work organ coming from the earth element. Earth element, you cannot locate yourself. Your earth element is really upside down. So it started to affect at the base, work organ NS. This is how it works. You understand? So that is the reason why you need to study all these things. Then you have a control. What is happening? Okay, yeah. So you trace to the root, you understand the root, and then you can manage the situation quite a lot. That is the reason why, unfortunately, you have to study quite a lot. And then it's easy maybe for for people to go to some teachers training program. There you do some exercises, and then prostration and everything you do, you get your certificate, you go there, you put up your certificate, frame it, hang it on your center, and then you start your practice. People are coming, and when you do something, they get into panic. Panic. Yeah, calm down. How to deal with the panic affected person? You have no tools. And they immediately, and maybe no panic when they were practicing, they go home and then some thinking, should I do this or should I not do this? Is it the right place where I am? And all these questions come in their mind, and then what to do? They have to sort it out. How could they sort it something without proper information, no information? So, and then they project everything on you. You become a cheater in no time. We have not done anything. You just did sarvangasana. Now you are in trouble. You are answerable to the panic of the person. It happens. You are teaching, and many times it might have happened. And so that is the reason you need support. And this support you earn by going through all these things, and then you understand how to deal with a situation. That is the reason why all those things, possible troubles that could come, there are support system in philosophy, in teaching, masters, and then you need to know at least a little bit. Some person comes and says that, yeah, at the night I could not stay. After the practice, I went there and I felt really upset, and some visions came. Strong vision. You have not done anything. They attribute everything on you. Because you did something. Yesterday the vision was not there. Today you did some asana, so you got the vision. Of course, asana is the cause of the vision. Normal. And then you have to deal with it. How to deal with it? You need to know something. Otherwise you cannot do this. Sorry, this is always happening like this. And so you need to have strength, mental strength, and actually command over what you are doing. And then when you are really study all these things, you will have incredible control. And then maybe sometimes something happens of which you may not be able to do anything. So you are staying there with a surrendered mind, lot of prayers, nothing should happen. Protect you and me. Let both of us be protected, first mantra. The master, the well-versed master is sitting and calling and saying, let both of us be protected. I am placed in this condition now. First one, Sahana Bhavatu.
They themselves know that.
And Sahana Bhunaktu. Let her pay the money for me to get my dosha. Sahana Bhunaktu. Sahaviryam Karavavahai, to fight between. It is not that Sahaviryam. Let us have sufficient strength to continue. And let both of us be enlightened. Let me also learn something from you, and you also learn something from me. Karavavahai, Tejasvina Avadhida. Let both of us be enlightened, that there will be no trouble. And then the last prayer is, let both of us not fight each other. That's the base mantra. It goes like this.